Hello my lovelies and welcome back to Perfect Date, where here we've got Oliver, who is going to be taking on the next stage of our journey. We've had a few ups, we've had a few downs. What's chapter 5 gonna bring us? Hopefully something good. I mean, chapter 4 went really well, right? But then we did have some bizarre occurrences during the first 3 chapters and a lot of deaths, so fingers crossed, but let's not aim too high, right? I step off the boat and onto Cat Island. I'm full of anticipation about what my first day will bring. 8 hours, 1 journal, and a wild cat chase later. Oh my god, thank you. This is so good. It looks like we don't have to go through that same part where Trixie steals our journal and takes us off into the forest and we get scratched. So apparently this first day brings physical assault and the biggest trauma of my life. Yes, yes. At least that's a little bit skipped down, right? Okay. Oh, it's awake. Human, we need to talk to you. Save it. I know how this goes, floofy bum. Blah blah, catification. Blah blah, evasive answers. Blah blah, antidote, and basically you need my help. Did I miss anything? Oh my god, this guy is like my kind of guy. Yes, Oliver, yes. No, not really. Wow, you really did read that journal from front to back, didn't you? Front to back. Yes. Are you going to help us or not? We are going to help, because that's what we do. Fine, I'll help. Whatever. See you after my day job. This guy's great. Great. I love how all the people we've played as in each chapter have had their own, like, slightly different personalities. That really adds something to this, you know? So it's not just overwhelmingly, like, repetitive, but slightly different each time. I return to the camp feeling a bit less grumpy. I'm just about to enter the lab to begin my legitimate work when the catalogue beeps. A message without any contact information. Oh my days. I believe that said, snitches get stitches? Who the hell? We worked this out last time. Ah, see? Someone needs to take that phone away from Mason Marigold. The rest of the day is uneventful, just working in the lab with the professor. I cannot wait to start unpicking this mystery. I suppose the cats are my starting point. They must know more than they're letting on. I intend to get to the heart of each of them to see what secrets they may hold. Wait, is it possible for us to meet the previous research assistant? Because she became a cat and should be happily off living with Trixie, right? Interesting, I wonder if that's possible. Anyway, romance time, because that's how we start things. And our only option at the moment is Kibbles, as we've done all of these for, and Ravenpaw appears to still have a padlock on her, so come on Kibbles, take us somewhere good please. The forest. I'm out in the forest looking for some shade and a place where I won't be disturbed. I need to be relaxed when I finally read the precious contents of the envelope I'm carrying. It feels like I've waited an age for this moment. Ooh, what is it? Eventually I find a clearing with a moss-covered tree stump that looks comfortable enough. I have a quick check around to satisfy myself that I'm alone before I take a seat and slowly unpeel the flap of the brown wrapper and pull out my issue of Kanashi Boy! It's such a treat to get some quiet manga reading time to myself. That is not what I was expecting to come out of that envelope. I am just starting to get into it when I hear a rustling sound coming from the nearby bushes. It's not the sort of sound the wind makes when it ruffles the leaves. It's more deliberate than that. I look over towards the bush, and the noise stops abruptly. Almost as soon as I resume reading, it starts again. I try to ignore it and continue with my comic, but it's very intrusive. I feel like I'm being watched. Who's there? The rustling gets louder. Which of you cats is it? Come on. Hello? Oh, it's probably Kibbles, isn't it? Because I picked Kibbles. Duh. I inch my way towards the source of the sound, nervously holding my breath. I reach out my arm to pull aside the branches when something bursts out of the bush and knocks me sideways. Kibbles? What on earth are you doing? Were you spying on me? Look at that little grin. He totally was. He picks himself up from the ground, desperately trying to style it out. Oh, you're here. I hadn't noticed. I was just, looking for something. In a bush. Yeah, I left my, Kibbles looks around frantically for something. He locks eyes on an unremarkable looking flat pebble and picks it up triumphantly. My pebble? I left my pebble in this bush. Found it now. Good, I'd hate to think what you happen if you lost that. Yeah, anyway, so what are you doing? Reading. I hold up the comic book, emphasising the obvious. Yeah, thought so. You're very observant, Kibbles. So, is that Kanashi Boy? What? I'm taken aback. Yes, actually it is. Do you know it? And more to the point, how do you know it? Yeah, fair one. How does a cat know about, like, manga? Do they get that? Do cats learn to read in English, or do cats read in cat? Oh my gosh, there is so much depth here. Like, does meow translate? Because we're speaking cat now, because I can understand cat. So, this isn't English. So how does the cats read English unless the cats can speak English? In which case, why don't they just speak English to me? Boom. Mind blown. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, looks like issue 8. That's right. Now I'm impressed as well as amazed. Kibbles, how on earth do you know? Questions are flooding in my brain, but I know I need to play this cool. I don't want him shutting me out. That's an old issue. He looks like he has no intention of answering my questions, so I try a different tact. I'm a little behind, so I brought a couple of back issues with me to bring me up to date. So, which version are you reading? Version? I'm not sure. Ah, it's probably the inferior American translation. You really need to get the original Japanese or the European versions to get all the nuance. Oh. It's impossible to truly understand the depth of Fumiyoshi and Hara's relationship in the version you've got. You're a proper fan, then. Could say that, I guess. Yes, Kibbles, yes. If you know about versions, you're a proper fan. I'd love to pick your brains sometime. Not literally, I hope. What do you want to know? Does the original version explain how they are able to enter the third chamber together when Chisato gets turned into a hog? Oh yeah, that's because she tried to pass through the gate without Azayo's approval. Oh right, that would make sense. That bit was cut for some reason. The American version they're selling these days is plebeian trash. Well, I like it. Any serious Kanashi Boy fan would track down the European translation. I'm not sure, but I don't think I'd be able to get those delivered here. I guess I'll have to make do with the trash version. I'd rather read something else than read that inferior rag. Fair enough, but I'm still enjoying this. I start to go back to reading my trash, but Kibbles suddenly springs forward, grabs the comic from my hands, and runs off into the undergrowth. Caw, Kibbles! This is getting a bit predictable now. Cat's stealing my shit. Hey Kibbles, bring that back. But he's gone. Of course he is. I wait for a while, not quite believing what he just did. After a few minutes I lose hope that he'll return and start packing away my things to head back to camp. Just as I start walking away, Kibbles comes crashing back through the bush. Oh, there you are. What was that all about? I got you something. That's when I notice he's holding a copy of Kanashi Boy issue 8. But it's not my copy. This one is in a pristine plastic cover. It looks new. Oh my gosh. Has he somehow managed to get us the, allegedly much better European translation? Here, this is my copy. The European translation? Original Japanese, actually. Wow. But how do you understand it? Don't tell me you speak Japanese. Some. Look, I've made my own translation. Oh my god, this cat is a genius! There are pieces of paper tucked in between the pages with scrawled writing on them. How did you manage that? I am genuinely interested, Kibbles, come on. One of the ones before you. She helped me translate it. One of the ones before me? What does that mean? A previous assistant? Want to read this or not? I'm far more interested in what he's just said. I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. So, when the human assistants become cats, like the one that we were last time, Caitlin, she became a cat, right, and stayed with Trixie. So surely she obviously spoke English, so that means she's a cat that now speaks both English and cat, because she wouldn't have lost that ability. So maybe some of the assistants that were changed is how they can speak languages. Who knows? You said helps. Kibbles is looking at the cover of Kanashi Boy, but I sense he's pretending to be preoccupied. He's clearly said more than he intended to, and now he's distancing himself from it. Kibbles doesn't want to tell me that if you do the things correctly, you can turn into a cat, does he? That would suggest they're still here. Where does the circle end? Huh? I'm annoyed that he's obviously trying to change the subject. Come on, Kibbles, spill the beans. It's a simple question, human. I'm worried that if I push him too far, he'll disappear into the bushes, so I decide to play along for now. Where does the circle end? He's watching me intently, and I get the feeling that this is some kind of test. The circle ends where it began, probably. Kibbles looks delighted. Oh, cool, you've read it. Read what? Sakura. I'm sorry, I don't know that one. But you gave the right answer. I have no idea what we're talking about now. Sakura by Heishi Ketsuiki. You haven't read it? I apologise wholeheartedly for what was probably the worst pronunciation of that name ever, but I had a go. Soz. Afraid not. Is it good? Only the best in its genre. Which is? Guru, naturally. And guru means... gore, of course. Of course! Duh, Oliver. I wasn't aware that gore was a whole genre. I realise that I'm a bit out of my depth here. Yeah, you're being out-animated by a cat. Obvs. I can lend it to you. I have a copy here. Kibbles looks like he's about to dive into the bushes. Whoa, hang on a minute. That sounds really interesting, but I'm in the middle of Kanashi Boy. So, ditch that and start this. You won't regret it. I mean, you could just multitask, mate. Many people have read 2 books at the same time before. Or maybe they haven't, but I certainly read more than 1 book at the same time, you know. Mix things up. Get a bit of excitement. We're gonna read Sakura. Let's do it. Huh, well, normally I would finish the series I'm on before starting another, but you've got me very interested in Sakura, I must say. Come on, Oliver, live a little. Wait right there. And he's gone before I can open my mouth. I'm starting to get used to this routine, so I wait patiently. He's back within seconds. That was quick. Where do you keep this stuff? I could tell you, but would you have to kill me? Haha. Then you'd have to kill me. Ah, yes! Whoa, slow down, JJ. It's a bit too soon to be finishing each other's sentences. JJ? Jesse James! McMurphy told me all about him. Fastest drawer in the Wild West. And suddenly he's leaping around with pretend paw guns, pew-pewing until he's been shot, and acts out an elaborate stagger fall death scenario. Then he's back up on his feet in a heartbeat, pointing at the comic he's placed in my hands. Oh my gosh, I wish I could see that. That sounds absolutely magnificent. And also, if you're making paw guns, like, I don't know. Can you make a paw gun with 4 toes? Yeah, it's universally agreed that it's the grossest manga out there. Way to sell it, mate. Kibbles grins as though that's a positive thing. I look at the glossy black cover and feel my interest peak. This doesn't look like the sort of thing I'd usually pick up in the comic shop, but I'm certainly intrigued. Great! You're gonna love the bit where Kira's mum stabs out her own eyes because... Spoiler, Kibbles! Come on! Kibbles? Spoilers! Oh, who cares about spoilers? It feels totally different when you see it with the artwork. I care about spoilers. I don't want you to tell me any part of the story, Kibbles. It doesn't matter if it feels different. Okay, but just remember one thing. Kibbles, if this is a spoiler, I'll be very upset. The circle ends back where it began. Kibbles! I can't tell if that was an actual spoiler, but I still feel indignant. He holds his paws up defensively. What? You said it yourself. That was a lucky guess. What does it mean anyway? It's the secret password for Sakura fans, to help identify each other. The mangaka made it up himself. Like the Mason's secret handshake. Yeah, probably. You don't know what the Masons are, do you, Kibbles? It's like a boy band or something? Close enough. I kind of wish they were a boy band, that would be hilarious. I wonder what genre of music they'd even play. Should we make our own secret handshake? You know, in case someone tries to infiltrate our manga club. Good idea, Kibs. We don't want anyone getting their mitts on our intelligence. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So if you hold your hand out in a fist formation and I do this... Kibbles has splayed his claws out as if he's going to scratch me, but pushes his metacarpal pad onto my knuckles. It feels really strange. That's great, Kibs. Really unique. Yeah, so anyway, I've got a lot of stuff to be getting on with, important business stuff. I'll have to catch you later, human. I feel a bit taken aback by his sudden change in mood. Oh, okay, Kibbles. I'll get on with this manga then, and we can discuss it soon. Yeah, sure. See ya! I sit down on the tree stump to get stuck into my new comic when I hear... Fill your hands, you son of a gun! I look up to see that Kibbles has crept around the far side of the trees to ambush me. I spring into action, falling to my knees behind my tree stump. You wouldn't shoot an unarmed cowboy, would ya, you yellow-bellied snake? He momentarily lowers his paws. What? I seize my opportunity. Pew pew! Gotcha! I shoot my finger guns at him. Nuh-uh, I dodged. Kibbles jumps into a roll and shoots his paw guns at me. No! You got me! I can't believe this is how it all ends! I grab my chest and stagger onto the floor, doing a very good performance if I do say so myself. That's what you get when you mess with the sass slinger. I dart my head up. The what? Oh, nothing. What did you just call yourself? I didn't say anything. The sass slinger. No, I don't know what you're talking about. You're boring me, human. I'm going now. No, I mean, that's really cool. I want a name too. Kibbles looks surprised. I get off the floor and dust myself down. How about the sass slinger and his sidekick, the, Banter Bomb! The Banter Bomb. Yeah? That's really embarrassing. Okay, well, I'll think about it and get back to you, Kibbles. This has been so fun. See you later, Bants. He blows the imaginary gun smoke from each of his little paws and swaggers off into the bush. I feel childishly happy. I think we did well with Kibbles there. That was certainly a really cool story anyway. I quite enjoyed that one. Most fun. Okay, so what are we going to do next? Let's look at recon. Stick to the tried and tested formula, you know? Check out each category, try and complete some bits and bobs. What's research 5? The professor's laptop probably has all kinds of interesting files on it. Luckily for me, there's a certain white-haired nerd who says he can hack it for me. Is that going to be Kibbles? Let's find out! The professor keeps all the data on a closed network. I have clearance to access a few files, but most of the info is encrypted and inaccessible to anybody but the professor himself. Good thing then that he left his laptop unattended before going on a trip to the mainland. He's gone to collect some specific components for some of the experiments we're running soon, or so he says, so I'm holding down the fort. When I open it, I see that his laptop is running the same technology as the catalogue. It's the only working computer that I've seen on the island. It's password protected, as I expected, but that's not a problem because I have a trick up my sleeve. Kibbles, come over here, work your magic. Oh, I do have a trick up my sleeve. Kibbles has been playing with what looks like a rubber band under the professor's desk. He leaps up and stares at the screen with huge black pupils. Come on, Kibs, work your magic. It's a Unix system, I know this. Okay, so you'll have to use an OS exploit and a pen drive to boot straight to desktop. Okay, slow down. I'm not good with this stuff. After some fiddling and impatient instructions from Kibbles, we reach the desktop. The professor's desktop background is a picture of him surrounded by cats. It should look cute, but it's strangely unnatural. We search for the files. Kib says we can get past the authentication process, but we still need to figure out how to decrypt them. He sets a process going to try to work out the encryption key. While that's working in the background, I take a look around the rest of the computer to see what else I can find. I find a folder with pictures of all the cats in it. They look like they were taken from a distance with a powerful zoom lens. Caught me mid-sneeze. Not very professional. Why do you think he has these photos? Well, I don't think he took them. He's only interested in cats as research subjects. Really? Then how do you explain this desktop background? I don't know. The computer makes a noise. That really was a weird noise. The program has finished trying to decrypt the files. What is it? I couldn't get past the encryption. We can only get access to one file, and it's an old one. I look at what he's referring to. Oh, but it's a good one. Yeah? What's it say? I read the document out loud. Observations on Project Felix. Huh, nice name for a project there. Day 74. Subject's ears are becoming pointed. Hearing range has expanded to 60 kHz. Oh my gosh, it's on someone going through catification, isn't it? Subject appears to be developing a reflective layer behind the retina. Eyesight in darkness has improved by 50% since last measured. Subject's field of view has expanded to approx 200 degrees. Body hair is becoming more dense. Longer hairs around the mouth and eyebrows have begun to grow faster and appear to carry sensory information. Attempts to reverse the changes have, so far, proved fruitless. Tomorrow we will carry out further invasive procedures. Day 75. Administered a combination of aminoglycosides, glucose, and the chemical extracted from the feral cat's adrenal glands. Initial results are promising. Subject appears to be in acute pain at all times. Oh gosh, that's awful! Day 76. Subject has perished overnight due to sudden heart failure, potentially as a result of increased stress. That's awful! Professor, what did you do? Post-mortem to be carried out at 1700 hours. Whoa, that's dark. Yes, it is. Probably a good thing you never told the professor you're catified. Damn straight. I nod and download the file to the pen drive as Kibbles instructed. I close the laptop. That's enough for one day, I think. And for one lifetime. Bloomin' heck. I knew the professor was a bad egg, but that is just gross. So we've unlocked ourselves another piece of recon. That's good, that's good. What shall we do next? Shall we go for the triple Kibbles in a row and take Kibbles out again? Why not? What are we going to do today, Kibbles? Ah, we're back into the forest. I've had a busy morning today, so I'm rewarding myself with a longer lunch break. I used the extra time to return what has become my favourite reading spot in the forest, to finish Sakura. Kibbles was right. It's fantastic. I'm enjoying it so much more than I expected to. I'm not usually a fan of manga that's excessively bloody. My tastes tend to be more benign. This was an exception. The gore was so relevant to the individual characters and the overarching storyline that it just felt entirely justified. I read the final page, close the issue, and exhale loudly. What an ending. I can hardly believe that the main character died. It's too sad, and yet completely authentic. I can't see how anybody could have escaped a situation like that. My thoughts are interrupted by the sound of rustling nearby. I open my eyes. Hey, Kibbles! Kibbles tumbles out of the bushes again. He's holding an adorable little satchel which is shaped like a penguin! Oh my gosh, that's so cute! Hello, Oliver. Have you read Sakura then? Yes, I just finished it now. It was so disturbing, but in the best possible way. I just want to see your backpack. Come on, backpack. Yeah, the body horror bits are epic. You want it back? I hand Kibbles the comic book. He examines it closely, clearly looking for any signs of damage or wear. After a while, he seems satisfied. He opens the satchel and carefully places it inside. At the same time, he takes out 3 more comics and presents them to me. Oh my days! You should try these now. They're on another level. If you want to be taken seriously, you've got to read them. I mean, who's going to take me seriously? 'Cause I'm talking to you, a cat, but hey. I struggle to understand who I should be trying to get to take me seriously. I give up. Okay, great. What do you have for me? First, this is Hokarashi. It's about a kid who finds a puppet that lets him control his parents. Interesting. Then this one is called Hungry Sparrow. The artwork is sick. There's this character called the Icebreaker. He's a huge polar bear. And this last one is Kuchi o Sabome. It's probably my favourite. Oh wow, Kuchi o Sabome! Is this famous? You've heard of it? I've read it! It's awesome, isn't it? Well, I actually couldn't stomach it, but I don't know how well Kibbles will take that. I mean, Kibbles is going to have to get over it. I'm not going to pretend I like it, because then he's going to make me read even more gross stuff, right? Like, we agree on some things, we should just be happy to not agree on some things. To be honest, it was a bit much for me. Kibbles suddenly looks very serious. He reminds me of my lecturers in uni when I answered a question wrong, but they didn't want to come right out and say it was wrong. Oops. In what way? Much. I think it's a bit relentless, the gore. It's not relentless, it's integral. Really? I felt the scene where Kaida eats that slug was just gratuitous. Totally the wrong place for something so gut-churning. What? Kaida never eats a slug. You must be thinking of something else. No, it's right after Mihiru brings her the fruit basket. She opens up a banana and the slug is inside. I remember the fruit basket, but no slug. Is this another, like, American-European translation thing? He pulls the comic out from its protective sleeve and starts looking through the pages. Here's the fruit basket, and then it goes straight onto the train scene. No slugs, see? Oh, I see what the problem is. This is the shorter version. The slug scene must be in the extended edition. Ah, yeah, see? Editions. Extended version? Yes, I've got it back at camp. I can lend it to you if you like. Swapsies! Kibbles looks upset for a moment, but then quickly composes himself. Oh well, I've heard the extended version is way too long. That's probably why you didn't enjoy it. The pacing is much better on the standard edition. So basically, Kibbles, is what you're saying. If you've got the version, it's the right version. You're probably right. You have much better knowledge than me on this stuff. He looks super happy and prances around me for a few seconds, catching imaginary insects. Okay, Kibbles, can I still borrow Hungry Sparrow and Hokorashi? He pulls himself together. Oh, so you haven't read those? Not yet. I've heard Hungry Sparrow is excellent. I'll say nothing until you've read them. We can compare notes then. Kibbles hands me the comics and packs Kushi o Sabome away. Thanks, Kibbles. I'll bring them back as soon as I've finished reading them. See that you do. Kibbles disappears backwards into the bushes once again, never breaking eye contact. Maybe he lives in that bush. Perhaps it's like the TARDIS. Well, that would be quite exciting, wouldn't it? And maybe the doctor can just appear and, like, bring us the cure to catification and save me all this research trouble. But you never know, eh? Anywho, one heart. Time for a nap. What have we got today? The issue of Kanashi Boy is super tattered. What has Kibbles been doing with it, using it as his scratching post? I grab the mini hot iron and some sticky tape and get to work kneading it. I iron each page flat, unfolding the bent over corners, lining up the tears and patching them. I work slowly and meticulously. It's surprisingly therapeutic. After about an hour, I sit back and admire my work. I'm quite proud of the end result. Not quite good as new, but definitely carefully pre-loved. I reread the issue delicately, appreciating every flaw. I think I shall rename this one Kintsugi Boy. Okay, that's a little bit odd, but hey, whatever floats your boat. We are now nicely well rested, so I think it's time to see what that other recon mission was. Here it is, recon number 1. There's something the professor is hiding from me. I know just the cats for the job. Ooh, stealth mission! Are we very stealthy? I don't think so. There is a trapdoor in the floor of the lab that is always completely off limits. I've spied the professor going in and out a couple of times, but he always keeps it locked and it's never mentioned. He uses a keycard to enter, but as far as I'm aware, there are no copies. Strange, though, having a trapdoor in a tent, let alone special high-tech security. I can't help wondering what on earth could be going on down there. That is really weird. I wonder how they got that built. I don't know if it's the catification or this environment, but my curiosity has really started to get the better of me recently. I've spent some time ruminating and have finally formulated a plan on how to get past the trapdoor and into whatever is beneath it. But this is more than a one-person job. I need to find an accomplice. Also, if we're building, like, an underground bunker in order to put a trapdoor over it, which is assumably what the professor's done, why wouldn't you just build houses? Like, why would you live in tents? Weird, weird, weird. Anyway, I've made my way down to the beach, to a familiar sight at this time of day. Snooty Booty, McMurphy and Kibbles are reclining in the afternoon sun. Hello guys. The gang's all here. Can't you count? There's only 3 of us. I didn't mean it literally, Kibbles, but it's good to catch you. I need a willing volunteer to help me on my mission. Oliver, my dear, charmed though I always am to see you, you really do have a particular skill for interrupting one's beauty sleep. Now, if you could just move slightly to your left, you're casting a shadow. I shift my position and lower my expectations. This may not go as smoothly as I'd hoped. How about it, Murph? Fancy going on an adventure? Ah, Kara, you must know cats a bit better than that by now. You're going to have to give us all the details before you get any of us to agree to anything. I mean, I don't think we'd get Snooty Booty to agree anyway, would we? Okay, how about this for intrigue? I have discovered a trapdoor in the ground of the main lab. Yeah, what about it? Oh, you know about it already? Obviously, it's not exactly hidden. So what's down there? Dunno, don't care. Only the professor goes down there, Kara, and you can't blame us for not wanting to keep him company. Not that we'd be welcome. Come on, guys. Aren't any of you slightly curious? I already have a plan figured out. All I need is someone smart, stealthy, and skillful to be my partner in crime. Ah, Kara, there are many things I would do for you, but going into the professor's territory is not one of them. Oh, come on, guys! I'm surprised at you, McMurphy. I thought you, at least, would be allured by the thrill of the unknown. Unknown my eye. Whatever the professor is hiding down there can't be good. That much we do know. I don't even know why you asked us. How can a bunch of cats help you? Ah, I'm glad you asked that, Kibbles. In brief, I have already worked out that the door is operated by an automated mechanism. When the boss walks through the door, it closes and locks behind him instantly. Well, almost instantly. It's your job to prevent that mechanism from making contact. Obviously, but how? I will sneak you into the lab in my backpack, and when the professor is exiting the trapdoor, I will distract him while you make a break for it, and use your epic weapon as a tool, preventing the door from fully sealing. Oh yeah? My weapon? And that would be... your pebble! Kibbles looks like he's about to scarper, and I know I have to move quick. I open my rucksack. In you pop. I knew you'd be the bravest cat of them all. McMurphy flashes me a wink and nudges Kibbles forwards. Ah, we've got a quadruple in a row, Kibbles. This is quite nice, isn't it? Valiant and brave as ever, Kibbles. You're a better man than me. Kibbles gulps and sinks into my backpack. I head back to the lab before he can change his mind. Okay, let's see what's going on. Now, you've got to be as quiet as you can. A muffled voice comes from inside my bag. Hey, Oliver, your job is really boring. Kibbles, my job isn't waiting around for people to go through trapdoors all day. What exactly is your job? Well, it varies from day to day. Most of the time I'm looking after the cats. A friendly tabby called Oscar meows from his cage, as if he knows what we're talking about. Other days I might receive a delivery of samples and have to run extensive tests and log the information. Hey Oliver, your job is really boring. Yeah, Kibbles, you're onto something there, aren't you? Shh. I cut him off as the trapdoor begins to open, and I give my backpack an elbow as the professor emerges. Ah, good day, Oliver. Beginning on the new samples, are we? Always good to get a head start. Oh yes, sir. I actually wanted to ask your opinion on this one. As I walk the professor over to my workstation, Kibbles has already leapt out of my bag and darted through the trapdoor just before it closes. Ah, actually, I see what I've done. I've misread the 8 for a 3. Now it all makes sense. Sorry to waste your time, Professor. Wait a second here. Is Kibbles on the inside of this trapdoor? Because I thought Kibbles was just going to wedge a pebble in the mechanism, and then Kibbles would be okay. Because now, Kibbles is going to be stuck in there until the professor leaves, and we can actually open the thing up and rescue him. This is not going to go well. No worries, Oliver. Say, may I ask when the last time was that you visited the optician? Just before I came to the island. Everything was perfectly normal, sir. Jolly good, just checking. The professor pushes his specs up onto the bridge of his nose and wafts out of the room. I breathe a sigh of relief and run over to Kibbles. He has wedged the small rock inside the rim, so that I can just pull the heavy door open. Well done, comrade. I knew you were the cat for the job. I mean, do we want to go in straight after the professor's left, or do we want to wait until the depth of night or something? Kibbles looks proud in spite of his fear. Victory or death! I step down to join him, leaving the pebble wedging the door open above our heads. Okay. Immediately, I can make out a staircase in the gloom, taking us further underground. By the time we reach the last step, the temperature has changed noticeably, and I realise my teeth are chattering. This is getting really creepy. Don't be scared, Oliver. I'll protect you. Thank you, Kibbles. I'm not sure what you're going to achieve, Kibs, but I'm not sure you're going to protect me against some of the things down here, are you? I fumble along the wall for a light switch. As soon as the lights come up, I cannot help but gasp. In front of us is a set of steel cabinets. The light glints off them and forces my eyes into a squint. This place reminds me of something, but I cannot think what. The drawers of the cabinets are neatly labelled, each explaining what is contained within them. Gallbladder, claw front, left, parotid gland. These are all cat samples in drawers, aren't they? There are hundreds of these, row upon row. I open the drawer labelled claw, right rear. It's what I feared I would find. Boxed claw samples, each labelled with a name, number, and some notes about that particular subject. Age, weight, breed, colouring. Every component that makes up a cat is laid out neatly in front of us. As a scientist, I'm used to seeing animal parts, but there's something different about this place. The sheer volume is overwhelming. Cat after butchered cat. It's horrifying. I feel sick. I know what this place reminds me of. A morgue. What the hell is this? Is this what they're doing to the cats that die here? I wonder if they're even waiting for them to die, but I keep my thoughts to myself. Yeah, that's an awful thought, isn't it? Like, they are literally just killing cats and putting them into drawers and... oh my god. This is gross! I look through the notes that Purrfect left on top of the cabinet. It looks like they harvest these from the cats that died during testing, so they can study the effects of various compounds on each of the specimens. Neither Kibbles nor I feel curious anymore. We decide to close this particular door behind us. Good plan. That was horrible. My gosh. This professor is just so awful. Right. Let's go on another romance mission and... come on, Kibbles, let's do something nice and fun and cheer us up. And forget all about that creepy-ass morgue. Ugh. It's been a few days since Kibbles lent me his comics. Although I devoured them on the first night, I've been so busy with work that I haven't had time to return them yet. I'm dying to talk to him about them, so today I've cleared the decks enough to spend a couple of hours with him. I'm waiting in our usual spot when the nearby bush begins to rustle. Hey Kibbles, you there? No answer. I brought your comics back. Still nothing. I know he's there. He must be playing a game, so I decide to play along. Oh, what a shame Kibbles isn't here. I so wanted to ask him about Hungry Sparrow. He's so clever. He would know why Nyoko broke the mirror at the end. Kibbles falls out of the bushes. Obviously, she's just clumsy. Really? I figured it was a metaphor for her fractured self-image. A metaphor? Yes, because her heart was broken when Ryoji fell in battle. Oh, of course, that goes without saying, but I just feel like that interpretation is kind of tired. Really? What would your interpretation be then? I think it might be too complex for you. Is that your way of saying you haven't got one, Kibbles? Yes, it is. Let's talk about something else. Alright, what did you want to talk about? I'm starving. There's no proper food around here. I eye the plump British long hair skeptically. Well, I've got a tin of tuna back at base camp if you want it. I could easily... No, that's not proper food. Gross. I'm talking about proper food. I have to say I'm with you there, Kibbles. Tuna is gross. Oh my gosh, also this is a great list of food. Chocolate, crisps, pizza. The things I would do for a pizza. Have you got any of those? No, Kibbles, I don't. But you know how to get them. What are you implying, Kibbles? I can't just walk into the mess tent and steal armfuls of food in the middle of the day. I mean, you could. Exactly. Meet me outside the mess tent tonight at sundown. Bring a backpack and a torch. We're going covert. Oh, Kibbles, I don't like the sound of this. If you don't help me, I'll just have to do it by myself. And you know that's not going to go well, is it? I shudder at the thought of Kibbles being let loose in the mess tent without supervision. Well, okay, Kibbles. I'll meet you, but only if you promise to be super stealthy. My stealth abilities are second to none. I'm a black belt in karate. I really hope so, Kibs, because we're going to have to be super ninjas tonight. Dank. I kind of like the idea of being a super ninja. I've come to the mess tent a little before sundown, hoping to apprehend Kibbles in case he tries to stealthily barge in without me. I was going to say, this looks very light out for darkness, doesn't it? Not really night. I finally spot him, stalking in the distance, using his tail to brush away any paw prints he's leaving behind. That is stealthy. He's taking this so seriously. My heart sinks as I realise how disappointed he'll be when I explain that we can't actually rob the mess tent of all its treats. But why not? Hey, Kibs! Senpai? Senpai? I have to restrain myself from doing an air grab. I just wanted to say, it's an honour to raid alongside you tonight. Yes, well, about that, Kibbles. I promise I won't let you down. Oh no, why is he being so nice? Well, actually, I don't think this is such a good idea after all. What? What are you talking about? Well, I was thinking that maybe it would be a step too far to raid the mess tent for spoils. But if there's pizza on the line? Are you joking? You've changed your mind. Do you not think I'm up to the task? Is that it? He looks so hurt. I feel really crummy. And so you should. Oliver, tusk. It's not you, Kibbles. I would gladly heat up a pizza and make a salad to go with it, but I don't think it's a good idea to take any more than that. Well, come on then, Oliver, let's get that pizza. Kibbles looks at me with disbelief. Did you just say the word salad? I did. I'm sorry, but this is a really bad idea, Kibbles. Not only could it get me fired, but you could get sick if you ate lots of sugar and flour, and I don't want to be responsible for that. It seems I was wrong about you. I thought you were heroic. I thought you were cool. This really strikes a nerve. I'm not sure what to do. I don't know whether to listen to my head or my heart. I mean, Oliver raises the strong point that we don't want Kibbles getting sick, but pizza? Pizza! Let's raid. I want a pizza. Kibbles called me senpai. I cannot let that be for nothing. Kibbles, I am heroic and I am very cool. Very cool! Let's raid. Kibbles does a little happy dance and fires invisible paw guns into the air. You're sure everyone's gone to bed? Probably not. It looks like it's about 3 PM. Yes, except Zane. He's doing his rounds. He's on the other side of the island right now, which gives us about 15 minutes. This is so cool! It's like a proper real-life loot run! But you have to keep your voice down, Kibs. The marigolds are doing their cleaning rounds in that tent, just over there. So they also haven't gone to bed either. Poor Oliver, you're not very good, are you? So stop talking, because now we only have 14 minutes and 32 seconds! Well, someone's on it with the timekeeping. We've crept into the kitchen area, which is easy, as the whole thing is open plan, and make a start by grabbing a pizza from the freezer and putting it into the microwave to cook. Microwave? Next, I get the store cabinet keys from their usual place on a hook next to the sink. The security's not exactly high-tech. It doesn't need to be. We're on an island. We all get fed. Who would want to steal food? Me? Kibbles. Duh? My backpack is overspilling with loot, and I'm struggling to zip it up. Point taken, but this is different. This isn't real food. This is the monthly treat ration. Monthly? Then what do you eat all day? Well, fish and vegetables mostly. Okay, that sounds gross. Like, I love vegetables, but fish? I am not a fan. Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that, Oliver. What? Never mind, hurry up, we have 6 minutes and 47 seconds left. As if on cue, the microwave pings. I grab the hot boxes, and we're off! Well, looks like we got away with it. So this is your place, huh? We're sitting on my bed, finishing the last of the pizza. Yep, this is my crib. Never say that word again. Yeah, I would agree. It did not sound good in my voice, did it? I cover my embarrassment by tipping the contents of my rucksack onto the bed between Kibbles and me. His eyes widen at the sight of our plunder. Oh man, there's even more than I thought. He stuffs his mouth with marshmallows and jelly beans. There are little tears in his eyes. It's been so long. This is the best night of my life. Kibbles and I gorge ourselves on junk food until we can barely move. Thank you for today, Oliver. I really needed this. I don't feel so good. Uh-oh. Did you eat too much? I clamber out of my tent, hoping that some fresh air will stop me feeling sick. By the time I return to my tent, Kibbles has gone, and so has the loot. Conspiracy. Thought he might leave me something. A chocky bar? A biscuit? Nope. Anyway, we have got 2 hearts. I think we did both the recon missions, didn't we? So there should be nothing more in here to do, which is correct. So, shall we go and do a research mission? We're going to have to do them at some point, so let's get a start on that now. We've got a choice of 8 or 13. 8! It's time to check on Muffin. I hope she's okay after those tests. Oh yes, good point. Let's see what happened to Muffin. Muffin was the cat that we were putting that weird cream on last time, that, like, brought cells back to life or something. I arrive at the lab at the usual time. As I walk through the door, the professor is standing right in front of me with a disconcerting smile on his face. Ah, Oliver, perfect timing. Morning, Professor. Have you seen Muffin today? I haven't. Why do you ask? See for yourself. He steps aside, and as I enter the tent, I immediately see what he's referring to. Muffin is bounding and scurrying at a breathtaking speed, sending everything in her path flying. Crikey, Professor, what on earth has gotten into her? It's that weird sample, isn't it? Some time ago, we tried to test a new sample on her, but there was no response at the time. I expect that this is just a much delayed reaction to that sample. It's like an anti-reverse aging thing, isn't it? She's like a hyper kitten. Indeed, I have an assignment for you today. I'm not cutting her up, Professor. You want me to catch her, don't you, sir? Absolutely. You must retrieve some samples for analysis. Skin, hair, and saliva. Right, okay. I mean, I can manage hair. I can probably manage saliva, but skin? Ew! I'm not cutting a square out of a cat, you weirdo. Although I guess I am. The professor chuckles to himself as he wanders out of the lab. He's right to laugh. This isn't going to be easy. Muffin is bouncing all over the place. I stumble around for a while, trying to catch her, but she's too fast. I'll have to think this through strategically. Okay, well, I have 2 cats. If I sit down, one might come over, but the other definitely won't. If I throw Dreamies, on the other hand, I will be surrounded, probably by the neighbour's cat too, so definitely going to lure this one with food. I try the one thing that always works with Muffin. Food. I stand waiting with a handful of treats. Come on, Muffin, I've got your favourite. Muffin stops in her tracks and fixes her huge pupils on the food. She's suspicious, but she can't resist. She tentatively approaches. Suddenly, she leaps forwards. I suppose she thinks she can grab the food and run back before I can catch her. She thinks wrong. After a brief tussle, I have her in my arms. She soon resigns herself to her fate. I give her some treats and she starts purring. I collect the samples with little fuss from her and replace her in her crate. I'm preparing and cataloguing the samples when I notice something peculiar. The hair sample looks brittle, like it could turn to ash in my hand. Okay, that's a bit weird. I glance up at Muffin, and she's sleeping in an unnatural starfish position, as though she conked out mid-leap. It makes me feel uneasy. I go and give her a gentle stroke. She seems perfectly fine and relaxed, but I can't help feeling she seems older than before. I think I'm getting paranoid. No! What if the light cream was reverse aging to make her seem younger, but is taking away her vitality at a faster rate, you know, doing some damage to her DNA or something? I'm probably getting a little bit too scientific now, but you know, I've seen some movies. Must be true, right? You have a lovely nap and wake up feeling revitalized. Your energy has been restored. Magic! Okay, so now we are back up to the full level of health. We can go off on some more bits and pieces. I vote, yeah, let's take out Kibbles again. We seem to be spending a lot of time with Kibbles in this one. Some of the others have been a bit more balanced, but this one, Kibbles-centric. I haven't seen Kibbles since our pizza party the other night. I want to make sure he didn't overdo it once he left my tent. He definitely did. I approach the clearing near the bushes he likes to hide in. Kibbles, are you there? No answer. Is he lying on his back with all his feet in the air, surrounded by kitty vomit? Kibbles? The bush sneezes. I know you're in there, Kibbles. You just sneezed. Well, at least he's alive. Still no answer. Kibbles, if you don't come out here, I'm coming in to get you. Kibbles lazily rolls out of the bushes. Oh hey Oliver, I didn't hear you coming. Kibbles, are you avoiding me? No, I've just been really busy. I pull a sticky sweet wrapper out of his long fur. Yes, I can see that. Is everything okay? I've been worried about you. You left so quickly the other night. Aww. Well, I figured the night was over, with you about to lose your guts outside. Then you will be pleased to know that I was not, in fact, sick. I did feel terrible all night, though. What were we thinking? What were you thinking, you mean? I happen to know my limits. Except that you were sick on the way home, weren't you? How did you know about that? I didn't until just now. It was worth it. We should do that again. Not with me, you won't. Plus, we can't because it was the monthly rations, so... So what's been keeping you away? I've been working on my project. Project? What's that? I'm gonna guess. Have you made your own comic book? Ah, yes! I'm so good at this. Just my latest comic. Comic? You made one? Yeah, I've been working on it for ages. You're the first person I've told about it. Well, I'm honoured. Tell me more. What's it about? Can I see it? It's about a lot of stuff. You can have it, actually. Really? Kibbles hands me a stack of papers covered with crude markings, held together with tape and staples. Aw, that's so sweet. Oh, it's nice. It is nice, Oliver. I think it's adorable. It's just a first draft. That'll be worth loads to the right collector. Yeah, the artwork is quite avant-garde. I mean, cut him some slack, he's got no thumb. How's he going to hold a pencil? Dude. I was worried that being a cat would limit my artistic ability, but obviously I'm a savant. Oh yeah, for sure, and well, it has a unique smell, doesn't it? Yeah, it's hard to get pens and paints out here. I had to get pretty creative. Something tells me I'd rather not know too much about his creative techniques. I'm going to agree. Thank you for this, Kibbles. I'll read it as soon as I get back to base. Yeah, well, it's pretty complex. You might not get everything on your first read-through. I look at the scratchings, paw prints and splatters that make up the pages of this rare first edition. No doubt. Maybe once I've read it, we can go through it together. Yeah, okay. You'll probably need my help. Right, I'll go make a start then. Thanks again, Kibbles. That's really sweet. It is. It is really sweet. It's basically made you a comic. Oh, and we've unlocked another recon mission. Maybe we should go do that. But that is adorable. In fact, yeah, we should definitely go do that because I want to know more about this comic. Okay, it was number 14, wasn't it? It might be worth taking a closer look at the comic Kibbles made. Okay, yes, good plan. So, what have we got? I'm laying in my tent looking at the comic Kibbles made. It's a really heartwarming thing. He's put a lot of work into it. As I'm looking, I notice something behind one of the colours. It looks like Kibbles might have painted over something he found. I can just about make out a signature in the lower right corner. The more I squint, the more I believe it's Professor Pauper's. I wonder what this used to be. I suppose it'd be possible to clean off the paint and see what's underneath, but I can't bring myself to do that. Maybe there's something at the lab I can use to see more without destroying the artwork. Ooh, this could be interesting. I arrive at the lab just after dark, when I'm guaranteed to have the place to myself. There's a portable X-ray machine in the back. We use it to examine the bones of the cats after changing their diet. It has a light box attached to it so that we can see the X-rays properly. I was going to say, X-raying a piece of paper. Dumb idea. It's this piece of equipment that I'm hoping will reveal the secrets under Kibbles' work of art. The light box itself. That makes a lot more sense. I lay out the comic on top of the light box. I can see the image quite clearly under the paint. It's a letter. Ooh, dear Jonathan. Ooh! Oh no, no. Now as I read, I realise Jonathan is not the professor. Right, let's read this. Dear Jonathan, firstly, I would like to wish yourself and Martha a very happy new year. I understand your concerns. The recent closure of our account at your cat farm may indeed negatively impact your business. I can assure you that this decision was not taken lightly. I would like to take the time to personally thank you and your family for your help in providing us with cats over the years. From your last letter, it's clear that you don't fully understand our reasoning. The traditional methods of farming cats have, as you pointed out, been perfectly acceptable for many years. However, recent advances in technology that our team have employed mean that we are able to produce cats on a far greater scale and much more quickly than using the traditional methods. Our offshore facility can produce 100 cats in the time it would take you to rear 10. I would, however, like to repeat our offer of a job in the offshore nursery. Your family has been an asset to this company for many years, and we would like to show you our loyalty and appreciation. Please do consider this offer seriously. Warm wishes and season's greetings from Professor Purrfect and the team. Oh my gosh. An offshore cat breeding facility? We have an island overrun with cats right here. Why would we need... Before I can even form the question in my mind, I know what the answer is. This island is the offshore facility. Professor Purrfect was obviously keeping it well under wraps. I look back at Kibbles' sweet picture and wonder how on earth he had this letter in his possession. Slowly, another thought begins to force its way into my consciousness. What if Jonathan and Martha accepted the offer that was made to them and came to work on the island? What if they brought their young son with them? Could this be Kibbles' parents? Oh my gosh, that's even more bonkers than what I thought. It's not the Masons, is it? That's how Kibbles got here. Oh my days! I decide to respect Kibbles' privacy and keep this information to myself. He may not remember any of this, and I don't want to distress him. This has distressed me! Holy hell! There are so many layers and depths to this plot that I just was not prepared for when I thought I was playing a game about dating cats. Blooming heck. Okay. Should we take Kibbles out? Or should we do another bit of research? Let's do another bit of research. Then take Kibbles out. Taking vitals. It's time to check up on some of our test subjects. Nothing fancy, just a routine checkup. And then, yeah, once we've taken Kibbles out, we can double, triple check all the others to make sure there's nothing left, and then we're good for the final bit of research, and we don't have to do double research. I'm spending the day examining the cats to make sure they're in good shape. Muffin is a little grumpy today, presumably because she's an old lady and she's just been woken up, but otherwise she's doing well. As I replace her in her crate, I can't resist doing the human-cat equivalent calculation. Ooh, what is that? So, she's 18, so if 1 feline year equals 7 human years, that makes her the grand old age of 126. I know it's nonsense, but that's impressive anyway. Cool. Smokey is being quite vocal this morning, so I grab him next. His hair is a lot more luscious than it used to be. I can't help but run my hand through it. Although it's no longer growing, I can feel how thick it is. Smokey's the one that we covered in that weird hair growth serum, isn't it? Creepy. Apart from that happy consequence, there doesn't seem to be any other side effects from the drug we tried on him, which is a relief. Further examination shows him to be very healthy indeed, a little bigger and heavier than last time I weighed him. All his other vitals are within normal acceptable range. I give him a small treat and he plods off happily. Who's next then? I suppose I have a free minute? Oh, it's Bee! Bee's come back! Oh, that's cool. I'm startled by the voice and turn to see that the quiet chocolate brown cat from the forest has entered without me noticing. Oh, hello. You are so pretty, Bee. Oh, Bee, you came! Well, I was invited. Of course. Will you let me check you over? I'd like to update your details on the catalogue. Okay. She leaps up onto the counter gracefully, and I begin the examination. You're in very good condition, aren't you? I don't want anything bad to happen to Bee. If you say so, Turntail. Why do you call me that? She ignores the question. Turntail means coward, doesn't it? The journal the last assistant left says that you called them Turntail too. I've read all about it. What did we do to deserve being called cowards? You tell me. Alright, well, we didn't stick up for the cats in many opportunities, and the one time we did stick up for the cats and refused to test on them, we got shot. So, mostly we've just agreed and done what the professor said, and the professor we're pretty sure is an absolute maniac who's trying to kill and torture cats for his own, nefarious gains and scientific innovation. So yeah, I guess that would make us a coward if we don't stand up to him and we know that we should. Cool, that was a lot of thought and a lot of speech. She looks almost sad. Well, I've racked my brains since you first said it, and I really can't imagine. I continue taking her vitals, keeping myself busy to ease the tension between us. You're taking too long. I remove the stethoscope from one of my ears. I'm sorry, Bee. Are you in a rush to get somewhere? I can't quite hide the sarcasm in my voice. Not this. I mean, we're joining the dots and working it out. Working what out? The connection. I wait to understand. Between us. She's becoming more irritated with me, so I tried to pull it back by being ultra calm. Is Bee a previous research assistant? And what would that be? It's like a red rag to a bull. Well, clearly not our IQ, mastermind. I feel stung. I can't understand why she's so upset with me. There's an awkward silence while I finish checking her over. Sorry. Her voice is no more than a whisper. I beg your pardon? It's not your fault. I just get so frustrated. Whenever there's a glimmer of hope, it's snuffed out before any progress is made. Yeah, I reckon she used to be a human, and she's like absolutely desperate for the antidote to be made, and we're all just being rubbish and dying before we finish it. Bless her. Poor thing. It must suck to just watch your hope constantly get extinguished and killed. Blech. Or worse, become a cat and join you. Although I don't understand, I don't want to interrupt her. She looks so earnest. I've been patient for so long, I'm beginning to forget. Forget what? What it was like to be a human. Time is we mustn't waste it. She looks so small and lost. Look, Bee, I'm really sorry if I did or said something to get us off on the wrong foot. I think it would be a real shame for us not to get along. We could be good allies. Important. Huh? The word I lost. Time is important. Yes, it is. See, we can agree. Maybe you and I could sit down together and talk about that a little more. Maybe we could. He leaps off the examination table and saunters towards the door. I'll let you know, Turntail. She's gone before I can reply. Oh, poor Bee. Oh, we've unlocked Research 10. Okay. Lovely jubbly. I wasn't aware that we, hadn't unlocked enough research yet. Right, anyway. Oh, we're out of hearts again. Rest time it is then. Okie dokie. You had a lovely nap and wake up feeling revitalised. Oh, I do so like it when that's the situation. Your energy has been restored. Magic. Okay. Next things up. We need to go on our final date with the wonderful Kibbles. I'm not sure how we did. I feel like he was really happy with us for agreeing to the raid on the food tent, but I'm not sure how he felt about the whole comic situation, so let's see. I'm sitting outside my tent, trying my best to make sense of Kibbles' comic. I'm desperately hoping for something, anything that I understand enough to talk to him about. It's no use. Just as I'm giving up, I see Kibbles approaching from the forest. Kibbles, what are you doing here? I figured you'd have finished my comic by now and you'd be ready to go through it with me. Oh yeah, sure, it was complicated, like you said. I knew you wouldn't get it. Okay, I'll be honest, I didn't really understand very much at all. Let's start at the beginning then, shall we? Kibbles sits down next to me and flips the comic open on the first page. It's semi-autobiographical, my memoirs if you will, from what I can remember anyway. This page is about my parents. Kibbles points to a pair of red paw prints. This is my earliest memory, my mum and dad sitting together while I played in the garden. He turns the page. This one just has one red paw on it. Money was tight, so mum worked a lot of overtime. It was just me and dad most of the time. This next bit is about when I started high school. The page is chaotic. Bright smudges and scratches cover every inch. Sounds about right for high school. I didn't really fit in at high school. Kibbles gestures to a page with a big scratch from top to bottom. This is the day where Troy started pushing me around. Look at this bit. A thick black substance covers the paper. I'm worried about what it might signify. This is my happiest memory. Sitting alone, by myself, in my room, reading comics. Kibbles flips to a more colourful page. This is when Dad started taking me to the comic store after school. It was like a whole new world for me. I'd lost interest in the commercial stuff. It started to feel lamestream to me. I discovered manga. It was much more on my level, way more intellectual. I love the word lamestream, that is so great. Kibbles turns page after page, explaining the significance of the manga he'd read and how they shaped him and helped him escape from his problems. Kibbles! I think this is great. The way you're opening up to me, it's a real privilege. Suppose. I've thought about it lots and wondered if I should ask. Ask what? Were you originally human? I mean, were you catified? He's lowered the comic and is looking at me with an expression of incredulity. I can't believe you just asked me that. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, you don't have to answer. Are you actually joking? This whole comic is about my transition and stuff. What were you reading? If I wasn't originally human, how would I have a manga collection that would make any otaku proud? How would I even be able to read? See, yeah, he's making a fair point there. Yes, of course I knew. I just mean I was asking more about how it happened. How, when, where, that stuff. He's fixed his eyes back on the page. Can't tell you. Too soon? Well, obviously not. We're looking at my entire existence here. I feel a little foolish. There's got to be something that's stopping them talking. Yeah, memory maybe? I just can't remember. Only bits, but it keeps getting less, like it's fading in the sun. I can feel his frustration and direct us back to the safety of reading. It's okay, this is great. It documents everything. Finally, he turns to the last spread, the one I'd been avoiding as the pages were stuck together. He prizes them apart carefully, so as not to tear anything. It's a type of collage. He's used bits of chewed up plants to stick down various objects. Among the colourful markings, there's a panel from my copy of Kanashi Boy, some sweet wrappers, and in the centre, the unremarkable pebble, the one that Kibbles claimed he was looking for the first night we met in the clearing. It has a blue and green paw print on it. Kibbles! This is beautiful! This page is about you. Me? Yeah, well, us. Us? What about us? You and me. Our story. You wrote a story about us. No, the story that we are. That is, I want... Ugh. Take your time, Kibbles. Count to 10. Use your words. I'm not a kid, don't patronise me. No, especially not when this is so cute if it goes well I'm thinking it's going. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I was just trying to help. It's just confusing. I don't know what to say because I don't know what I feel. About what? About this. Kibbles angrily jabs the comic with his claw until it hooks into the paper and he can't unstick himself. Do you need help or... I really don't want to be patronising. Kibbles finally tears his paw free and looks me directly in the eye and blurts out one word. Love! I'm not sure I even fully heard him correctly, but I'm frightened to ask him to repeat himself, so I take a punt. Love? Maybe. Kibbles, I may be a very clever scientist, but I can't read minds. You're going to have to tell me what it is you're trying to say. Maybe I might have love feelings, possibly. For you, I think. Oh! I have love feelings for you too, Kibbles. Well, that's good. It is? Yes, because maybe I might have love feelings possibly for you, I think, too. It's so cute. We did it, we did it, we did it. You might? I do. Yes, so do I, definitely, I think. Aww. Kibbles looks like he doesn't quite know what to do next, so I bend down and we share an affectionate nuzzle. He purrs loudly, then bites my arm and runs away. Oi, where do you think you're going? And I chase him through the forest. That was so cute. Okay, I did actually really enjoy that. Oh, Kibbles, you funny sausage. Okay, we're out of hearts. Not hearts, we're out of boxes for romance, we're out of boxes for recon. I don't think we've got anything new in the extras panel, but let's have a check. No, we've done all of those, nothing else has unlocked, which means it's time for the final bit of research. What is this gonna do? Uh-oh, yes, I'm ready to leave. Here we go! Okay, so research 10. A term for the worse. Today's the day Mr. Bumble gets the all clear. He's a tough old boy and I'm looking forward to giving him a cuddle. Fingers crossed! The professor lifts the flap of my tent and pokes his head inside. Oi, privacy! Oliver, may I have a word? Of course, sir. He lets the flap fall shut. I'm not sure what time it is, but it's still dark in my little shelter. I quickly pull my lab coat on over my pyjamas and make my way outside to find the professor staring out to sea. Weird. Is something wrong, Professor? No, well, yes, I suppose something is wrong. Your Mr. Bumble is getting worse, Oliver. He's taken a turn in the night. Oh my goodness, but he was doing so well. I was going to recommend that we release him this week. With older cats, this can be expected, as sudden relapse is common, and they become overwhelmed so quickly. I can't believe it. Is it something I did, or didn't do? Did I miss something? No, Oliver. I trust that you have done your absolute best for him, my dear, but I'm afraid he's in a lot of discomfort now. His words cut like a knife. The thought of any animal being in pain is heartbreaking, but I've grown very attached to Mr. Bumble in the time I've been caring for him. We do a lot of good on this island, Oliver, and it can truly be a joy to live with these beautiful animals and ensure that they are well and happy. Oh, I don't want him to die. But we also have to do a lot of things that we don't want to. Unpleasant things, you understand. Though we always have the best interest of the cat in mind. It's not that I don't want him to be able to be out of pain. It's that I'm not sure he's in pain, or if he is in pain, it's probably something the professor did. That's what I'm meaning. I feel I know what's coming, but I hope I'm wrong. Mr. Bumble may live for a while yet, Oliver, but his every waking moment will be full of pain and suffering. It's times like these we must think about what is best for our subjects. The professor takes a deep breath. Mr. Bumble will have to be euthanized, my dear. There's no two ways about that, but I thought it may be nicer for him if you were the one to do it. You could say your goodbyes, stroke him, make him as comfortable as he can be, and then you could take away his pain with one quick injection of catamine. Catamine, you say? I am frozen. I don't want to answer. All of that catamine was like being overly used before. Maybe this is where it's all going. You don't have to agree, but I wanted to give you the choice. He will be euthanized tonight either way. Would you like to be there? Yes, I would. I think I'm going to do it because the professor's a dick, basically, and I wouldn't want him to be anyone's final thought. So it may suck, but at least if I do it, Mr. Bumble's got someone that's not a dick doing it, basically. I think I should be the one to put Mr. Bumble to sleep. I know it's painful, but I think you've made the right decision, my dear. Let's try and get this over with as quickly as possible. I mean, you don't get to be here, do you? Brrr. Mr. Bumble is curled up in his crate. I'm a bit taken aback at how well he looks. I had braced myself for a different picture entirely. I am grateful that he doesn't look as sick as he is. See, I'm not necessarily convinced that he's that sick. I think this is all the professor's fault. The professor just wants another dead cat, doesn't he? Would you like me to prepare the syringe for you while you say your goodbyes? I nod. I can't muster any words. The professor begins preparing the lethal injection. I take this moment to comfort Mr. Bumble through the bars of his crate. I'm worried that if I pick him up, I'll never be able to let him go. Do it, and run away with him. I talk to him quietly. Even though he can't understand what I'm saying, I hope my voice will be a comfort to him. It's okay, my friend. Nothing bad will happen to you. Liar. I'm surprised to hear the familiar voice of Trixie coming from the shadows in the corner of the lab. I can't believe this. I trusted you. I cough away the sob in my throat. I can't answer Trixie without raising suspicion. I defended you when people called you a traitor. I believed in you, but you're just like him, aren't you? There's nothing wrong with that cat. Mr. Bumble is as healthy as I am. See, I knew it! You've been unwell for a while, haven't you, Mr. Bumble? And it's getting worse every day. It's time to do the kindest thing possible for you, even though it breaks my heart. I hope Trixie understands that I'm talking to her. She scoffs. She knows the truth. He's fooled you too. I thought you were smarter than that. Can you not see what's going on here? The professor turns to me glumly and places the tray of supplies on the table next to the crate. The injection is ready, if you've finished saying your goodbyes. I hesitate, feeling the professor's shrewd eyes on me. I can't watch this. Neither can I, Trixie. I see Trixie's shadow slink out of the tent. I think delaying things any longer would only make the situation more distressing. If we take some alone time, can we sneak the cat out? Let's try it, at least. I need some time alone. I'm sorry, Professor, but could I have a few moments alone with Bumble? I would like to brush his coat one last time. Certainly, my dear. I'll leave you to finish the procedure, and no need to report back to me tonight. Just head back to your tents and I'll talk to you in the morning. Message me if you have any problems. Good. Good, good. This means that we can just sneak Bumble out, right? The professor pokes a finger into Mr. Bumble's crate and whispers a few words that are just out of my earshot. He squeezes my shoulder paternally before leaving the lab. I immediately open the crate and hold the cat protectively to my chest. You're staying with me, boy. I whisper the words into his ear. Something in my gut tells me that the professor is listening outside the lab. We can't leave through the main entrance. We'll need to find another way out. Yes, we're gonna do this! We're gonna save Bumble! Oh, I'm so pleased! My mind races wildly. I stroke the large cat with my free hand. His rhythmic purring helps me to concentrate better. I suddenly see an image of Trixie in my mind's eye. Where did she go? How did she get out? I search every corner of the tent for an opening or a broken stake in the ground. Finally, I find a tear in the fabric behind some of the cages, and I am able to squeeze through it with Mr. Bumble in my vice-like grip. My body switches to autopilot and takes me to the only place I can think to go, Trixie's cave. Isn't Professor gonna know because there's gonna be a full syringe of ketamine? Shouldn't you have, hidden that? The cave is unusually dark and cold. She must be out. I write a short note explaining that I couldn't go through with the euthanasia and that I'll be back at the lab covering my tracks tonight. Oh good, at least we've remembered to go back. I use one of her minerals, Floofy Butt, as a paperweight, and make sure Mr. Bumble is settled and sleeping before I make my way back to the tent. Good plan. I'm glad we did that. And we have unlocked Research 14. Hopefully, doing that means we won't have, caused our own death or something. That seems to be a common occurrence for us, doesn't it? Right. I've come to the forest to gather my thoughts. This morning I noticed another change in my appearance. Up until now it's been easy to cover up my transition, I just had to keep on top of removing the excess body hair. Even the stub of a tail that appeared a few days ago hasn't been a problem. Who'd see it? It looks like we haven't failed, guys. I think we're going to be living with Kibble. But this new development is definitely a turning point. How am I going to explain the fact that my pupils have turned into vertical slits? I can't risk anyone seeing me like this, so I'm going to hide out for a while and see what happens. Yay! Sometime later. Looking around, I don't remember ever being happier. I'm laying here in the forest with Kibbles, reading a new edition of Kanashi Boy. I wonder how they keep up with them. And look how cute you are as a cat, mate! Oh, you're adorable! I love the little, sideburns. Are you ever going to tell me how you managed to get a hold of these books? Yeah, I could. Really? Finally? But then I'd have to kill you. Yeah. We're interrupted by the familiar sound of the ferry arriving at the pier. It seems my replacement has already arrived. That must be the new research assistant. Want to go and annoy them? Yes. Kibbles never gets tired of being Kibbles. He's fabulous. No, you go if you like. I'm going to have a nap in a minute. Yeah, me too. It's hard work, all this reading. There was a time I would have thought he was being ridiculous, but these days I have to agree. It's the pages. Turning pages is surprisingly taxing with pause. I feel so lucky that that's the only thing I have to complain about. My life really is charmed. I now know that I made the right decision. It used to worry me. I felt guilty about giving up on my work on the antidote. I resisted the urge to join Kibbles and the rest of the gang for as long as possible, but I think a small part of me always knew I would give in eventually. Now I have no regrets. None of the other cats blame me. They're happy for Kibbs and I. We're one big family. It's kind of adorable. Want to go cliff hopping later? After a sleep, obvs. I'm happy to do whatever you want, Kibbs. Really? Of course! Okay, give me a making biscuits massage while I fall asleep, would ya? I roll over and open one eye to see Kibbles has the broadest grin on his face. I swish him with my tail and drift off into a blissful sleep. Aww, that was kind of magical. I really enjoyed that, and I'm so glad that we successfully got with Kibbles. So, yeah, looks like that's where we'll leave off for the day before we come back next time and hopefully finish the game by completing Chapter 6. You never know what's going to occur. If you'd like to leave a like on the video or subscribe to the channel, that will keep you up to date on when that part comes out. Spoiler, it'll be next Wednesday. Until then, goodbye!